Well, first I got a religious film.
What was that?
All the King's Horses that I did with Grant Goodeve. And then I went right into The Hills Have Eyes. Again, the dichotomy of me.
So dark, The Hills Have Eyes. That was probably like, was that at that point, like the hardest thing you've ever done?
It's the only thing I'd ever done.
Really?
Come on. It was my first gig.
Were you nervous?
Somebody asked me, he said, were you worried about how dark it was? Were you worried about what it would do to your career? Dude, it was my first leading role. I'm going, shit, I got a part. Let's go.
Yeah.
And I can't swear on here, can I?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Obviously, Spielberg saw that and was
and then I did The Howling and 10 with Blake Edwards was in there.
Dudley Moore.
Yeah.
By the way, Dudley Moore is one of my favorite actors of all time.
Oh my
comedians.
God, one of my favorite
people.
Just
tell me a story you haven't told that you remember of Dudley's. Anything, small, big, whatever.
Dudley and I danced on many tabletops in Mexico.
Oh God, Dee, you're fabulous.
And I would go out with the crew and hang out with the crew, and he was just so giving as an actor and so lovely as a person. I just loved him. And so there was a scene, which you'll probably remember if you remember the movie 10.
Bo Derek.
And Dudley is playing the piano.
Oh, yes.
And so we did the scene, and Blake, everybody's breaking down. We're moving on to the next thing. And Dudley starts to play. And Dee is sitting there so moved by his playing that tears came to my eyes. And Blake stopped and he said, everybody come back. Bring everything back. We're going to get a close-up of Dee listening to Dudley play. And it's this huge, and that happens to me on every set with great directors.
They see something happening or brewing.
On E.T. in the dinner table scene.
Was that the yelling thing where you snapped? Or no, that was the laughing thing?
Well, it's when he said the big dinner table scene where we are talking about maybe he just imagined it, right? And then it gets into, well, why don't you call your father? I can't. He's in Mexico with Sally, right? When he said that as Mary, I took such a hit, and the tears, I could feel the tears coming up, and I literally had the thought as Mary, I can't let the kids see me cry. So I got up from the table and left, which was not in the script. And Steven yells cut, and he comes over and he goes, Dee, why did you get up and leave? That's not in the script. And I explained to him what happened, and he looked at me. He said, everybody come in. You got a half an hour. I need you to build me a wall with a running kitchen sink right there so he could take me over to the sink and then bring me back into that big close-up where I says, he hates Mexico. And it all just, but that's a good director. They see, they see the moments.
Ryan, you remember that? If you don't, you have to watch it. I haven't seen the movie in many years, and I immediately remember that moment. It almost makes me emotional because I remember that moment. I remember he hates that, trying to. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And every major, I mean, it happened with Peter Jackson all the time.
Frighteners?
Yeah.
Oh man. I love that movie.
What a lovely man